All right. Hello, everyone. Queens from every corner of the earth, wherever you are. Thank you so much for joining today. I am Crystal Paige Hyman. I help entrepreneurs cultivate their intuition, creativity, clarity, so that they can have the confidence to build the life and career of their dreams. And this year's Blaze Summit theme, woo, no longer my burden, not my problem. We are unburdening ourselves. Okay, I'm just so thrilled about this summit and what it means for us and what we'll be doing together. This year's Blaze Summit theme is no longer my burden. Hashtag not my problem. See, the thing that gets tricky when burdens are something that we actually asked for, something that we prayed for, when the responsibility, the thing that is weighing you down, that has you under pressure, is the very thing that you prayed for. You asked to be the boss. You asked for your own business. You begged for the opportunity to leave corporate America, to be the captain of your own ship. You asked for more clients. You asked for more money. You asked for, I'm going to touch the subject. Yes, you asked for a nice husband and you asked for beautiful children. But with those things, we come acquainted with the pressure of maintaining them. Right? Sis, am I talking to you? Do you know what I'm talking about? We almost always end up at the intersection of Burnt Out Boulevard and Overwhelmed Lane. If that's you, go ahead and say, that's me. Put it in the chat. Yep, that's me. We're all guilty of this. And in today's workshop, we're going to focus on making space to sustain the blessing so that when you get it, it doesn't become a burden. We make space by doing what is called self-cultivation. And with self-cultivation is how we build capacity. See, I work as a corporate trainer and a talent development consultant in the tech industry. And one of the things that they do in tech when they're promoting new leaders is they do a capacity assessment. They see if this individual has the proven experience to manage large, complex teams and organizations. And one of the things that I took from that, like, wow, capacity. We currently manage our lives as entrepreneurs, career women, mothers, life partners, wives, caregivers. Come on. We do so much and we look good while we're doing it a lot of the time. That takes capacity to manage your life and all your blessings. Now, do you want to learn how to build some capacity? Drop a I'm ready in the chat if you're ready to just dive in, because I'm going to give you my all. I'm going to give you my best in today's workshop. That's my goal. So let's just go right ahead and I'm going to share with you all of the slides. And today I just want to give you everything that you need for you to go forward and be successful. So today, again, the name of our talk is When Blessings Become Burdens. And the subtitle here would be How to Build Capacity When Our Bandwidth Seems Broken. All right. So let's just go right ahead. Now, my name is Crystal Paige. I have my own consulting company. I want to show you a little bit of who I am because I think it's important. Whenever we're in an adult learning environment, it's very important for us to know who we are learning from and why we should even listen. So I am a Jamaican American, Howard University graduate, business owner of my own consulting and coaching firm. Outside of talent development consulting, I have another job I call my real job. Okay, this is where you'll find out about my manager and assistant manager, my manager being my 3-year-old daughter and the assistant manager being my husband. I am very aware of how much capacity it takes to build a life, not only for family, but also for career, for your work, for your business, for your multiple streams of income. Amen. It takes a lot. Well, I started my coaching career with this lady right here. This is Hay House author Jennifer Grace, who's responsible for helping me get my foot in the door with coaching and consulting. And I've had a wonderful career. I absolutely adore Tony Robbins. Hello, do you see him right there? Come on, Tony. I am into personal development, leadership, and self-help books. My favorite motivational speaker, one of them is right here, is Tony Robbins. The other is Les Brown. And I aspire to be a prominent voice one day in this field of personal development. And just so that you know a little bit about me, any Beyonce fans, you give me a couple fire emojis if you are a part of the Beehive and have respect and love for the Queen Bee. That's definitely important to preface here as I give you a little bit about who I am. So the thing that I do, the problem that I help solve is entrepreneur mental health. We are, as a group, as entrepreneurs, we are more likely to suffer from some sort of mental illness. We are 50% more likely to have at least one mental illness. We are 2 times more likely to have suicidal thoughts. We are 2 times more likely to be hospitalized for psychiatric ailments. We are twice more likely to have lifelong depression, to live with depression on a consistent lifespan basis. We are more likely than the average person, 6 times more likely to have ADHD, 3 times more likely because of these other issues. We're 3 times more likely to resort to self-medicating or becoming addicted to substances. And we're 11 times more likely to experience bipolar depression, extreme happiness, and extreme anxiety. There is so much research back there, behind this that backs this up. And it, for me, is so unspoken. We're not talking about this stuff, that the journey that you've chosen to be on is one that it predisposes you to an onslaught of anxiety, depression, and all that come with that. So your job as an entrepreneur is to maintain your mental fortitude. It's when we fail to make time for cultivating our creativity, for building our capacity, for the life that you chose and all its complexities, that is when we start to have burnout, overwhelm, experiencing anxiety, having sleep problems, experiencing mood issues, irritability. That comes with a breakdown of partnerships, breakdowns in relationships with customers, not being able to respond to your day-to-day tasks and the goals that you have to achieve. There's so much there, and there's so much to manage. But you, as a mighty entrepreneur, and a Black female entrepreneur at that, I am here to give you the support that you need to build on your capacity. Every entrepreneur has to learn how to coach yourself. You have to hashtag coaching myself. Put it in the chat. I'm coaching myself. I'm learning how to coach myself today. I'm building capacity today. Go ahead and put that in the chat, because essentially it's our job, because of this path. Because we know that we're more susceptible to these things, we're going to have to get the tools to coach ourselves and build out our capacity for these really complex lives that we're leading. So today we're going to dive right in. I'm going to give y'all all I got, like everything. You're about to get everything, the soup, the potatoes, the meat, everything. I'm going to give you my all. Whenever I show up, I show out. And so I want you to get 10 tools today. I'm going to be going quickly, so please have your notepad out, but you should be, let me know if you got your participant guide. You can let our administrators know whether or not you have your participant guide, so that we can get that to you, because your participant guide you'll just be able to follow right through throughout all the tools that I'm giving you today. All right, so let's dive right in. We're going to start by building a mind monitoring practice. Mind monitoring practice. Okay. Then we're going to go into our goal digging and goal setting. And we're going to talk about mindful co-creation. All right. Right in there. Let's do it. Here we go with the first, most essential of all the tools I'll be talking about today. It is your writing practice, a daily journal practice. A lot of the reasons why we lose our bandwidth or our ability to process and meet the needs of our businesses and our busy lives, it's because we have so much on our minds, so much to think about, to address. You're managing so much, but when we get our thoughts out on a page, it frees up space for us to observe the thought as words on a page, rather than a rumination that's in your mind driving you crazy. Really and truly, if you get it out, then you can do something with it. And just to give you a high level, broad stroke of the benefits of a writing practice, I'm talking about this helps you with everything that has your attention right now. You can literally write out every single thing that needs your attention and then refer to that paper rather than having that in your mind. That's easy peasy, Crystal Paige. Give me something more. I know that it might be simple. However, a practice of doing this every day is where I'm trying to get everybody at. If you can do this every day, you will see a transformation in your life. Writing down helps your mind get clear. It helps you clarify your goals and priorities and your intentions. And we'll talk about that further in the workshop. Writing things down helps you stay motivated and helps you recognize how far you've come. You're able to see your progress. When you go back and look at your journals, you'll be able to see and recollect how far you've come. I have a journal, for example, from 6 years ago, talking about today. I used to write about how I want to be a speaker, how I want to speak and give workshops and do corporate training and all that. I'm walking into that reality because I wrote it down. I wrote it down and I didn't give up. So there's power in our writing things down. We're moving right along. I hope y'all catching it. And follow along in your participant workbook. Your workbook will have prompts in there and just everything you need to get started in a practice. And this is going to be your first assignment, okay? First assignment. Everybody's paying attention, right? Okay. First assignment. I see y'all going off in the chat. Yes, we have assignments already. So your first assignment is going to be every single morning for 5 timed minutes. The first thing that you do when you wake up is going to be writing, excuse me. You're going to write. I'm talking about as soon as your alarm alerts, you are going to take your pen and your paper. You're going to have a notebook up under your pillow and just start to write. What will happen is that there is something called the twilight subconscious period, where we have a direct access to our subconscious mind right when we wake up. This is scientifically proven, by the way. Hit me up. I will get you the studies. But we have a direct access to our subconscious mind, our higher thinking self, our universal self, if you will, right when we wake up. And it is in that twilight moment that several inventors have had breakthroughs. Thomas Edison with the light bulb, for example. It is accessing that twilight subconscious period that we're able to see the genius and the brilliance arise within ourselves. So start to ask yourself, if you need help, you can start to just don't think about what it is that you're writing, just dump it all out. If you are someone who is frightened by a blank sheet of paper, don't know what to say, don't know what to do, don't know what to write, just anything that comes to mind, just let it flow. Don't judge it, just let it come out. Whatever it is. Oh, I don't know what kind of coffee I'm gonna have this morning. Oh, my breakfast. Oh, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. It might start out as a to-do list, but it will eventually emerge into those brilliant gems start to come out. So I also want you, if you have a challenge, you can use prompts. You can write down a question the night before, okay? So write down a question from the night before. If it's something you need to answer, go ahead and answer it the first thing when you wake up. Now, the most important thing about this is consistency. We are just aiming to do this journal practice for 5 time minutes first thing when we wake up, okay? And you can journal at a time that works for you, but do it at the same time every day. Consistency, consistency, consistency. All right. Oh, yes, don't stop until your timer goes off. And what you want to do again is just make sure that you are dumping everything out of your mind. Don't judge what you're saying. Use prompts if you need to just go ahead and get those thoughts out there. You can use prompts to help you out. Ask yourself a question the night before. Journal at a time that works for you. If early in the morning doesn't work for you, if you have a kid's foot in your nose in the morning, then go ahead and journal it in the evening or in your car or whatever works for you. The whole entire point is to be consistent and set your timer and don't stop until the timer goes off. Okay. Next up, we have mind monitoring, and that's our self-care clarity ritual. Number 2, you can meditate for only 90 seconds. Okay. I want you to only focus on getting 90 seconds of a meditation practice. Many people will tell you to start with 5 minutes, try to do 5 minutes. I have learned in my experience as a coach, 5 minutes is an eternity for some of us really cerebral, busy minds that we have, okay? 90 seconds is all you need, and consistency is your friend. 90 seconds at the side of your bed, just sitting up straight. You don't have to do crisscross applesauce. If that's not you, don't go for it. Sit up straight on the side of your bed. Make sure that your back is up straight and aligned. You don't necessarily have to be cross-legged, but if you feel like you need a meditation station, a pillow on the floor, go for it, sis. But all you need is 90 seconds. You want to create 90 seconds. And within that 90 seconds, that is going to be where you focus on your breath. And you're going to simply inhale one word and exhale another. It's very simple. 90 seconds. Inhale one word. Here, exhale now. I like to go here and now, depending on how I'm feeling, but inhale here, exhale now. Or do what works for you. I have some clients that go inhale, come, exhale together, come together, come together. 90 seconds, that's all you need. You can try this also, a rise and fall. Inhale, rise, exhale, fall. Just visualizing a word or thinking about a word that accompanies your inhale and exhale. All you need is 90 seconds. Be consistent, set a timer, and try meditating for 90 seconds per day. You can do that. You can do anything for 90 seconds. Now, with that being said, I just want to stop here and take a breath because I want you to try something out with me. All right, you ready? Everybody ready? Ready? Go ahead and put it in the chat. Ready? Put it in the chat. Ready? Let me see. Make sure everybody's ready. We're ready to pick up what I'm about to lay down for you right now. Okay. So at the sound of my voice, I want you to lean away from your computer or your phone. And I want you to look about the room that you're in right now. I want you to look about the room, and for every object that you see, just notice it. Don't label it. Just notice. I want you, if you're outside, take in your environment. Look at all the colors, the shapes, the varieties of items and objects you see. When you see an object, just notice it and move on to the next item. Try to observe without labeling. And notice where the light is coming from. Notice the shadows. Now I want you to take a deep breath, and I want you to engage your sense of hearing. Be still and notice what you hear. Maybe it's a humming. Try to hear with your left ear and then your right. Just notice all the sounds that are audible to you. Notice the silence in between the sounds. Now I want you to engage your sense of smell. Deeply breathe, inhaling through your nose, and notice what smells are present with you. What do you smell? Don't label it, just experience it. Now I want you, since your sense of feeling is engaged, let's go with that and feel the air passing through your nostrils and into your lungs. You may be feeling the rising and falling of your chest or belly as you inhale and exhale. What do you feel? Wiggle your toes. Feel how your feet feel in your socks or shoes or barefoot on the floor. Feel how it feels to be supported in your chair. Feel how your clothes feel on your skin and against your body. And finally, run your tongue along the roof of your mouth and the back of your teeth. What do you taste? Can you taste anything? Take a deep breath here. And I want to thank you for engaging your five senses with me. Please open your eyes just in case you got lost in the moment. What we just did is called mindful awareness. And that's our mind monitoring practice number 3. And that tool that I just walked through with you is called a 5 senses check-in or a sensory oasis. And studies show that when we engage our 5 senses, the part of our brain that goes into fight or flight mode, the amygdala, shuts off momentarily in order to process the information that's being taken in by your senses. So your sense of sight, your sense of smell, your ears, all of those, when we really keenly become aware of our sensory experience, it shuts down the amygdala momentarily from processing the fight or flight response. This is a remedy for anxiety if you are someone who deals with anxious or precipitating intrusive thoughts or is constantly overwhelmed with overthinking. In order to build capacity, we have to cultivate mindful awareness. And it is such a silver bullet for anxiety, and it's useful if you can put those worries into actionable tactics. I mean, we're going to talk about anxiety being something that is a signal that we need to take action, but for those thoughts that are just overwhelming us, this is a tool that we can use anytime, any place, just to take a step back and turn off that fight, flight, or freeze response. All right. So following along in your participant guide in your workbook for this workshop, I want to introduce what is called the Wheel of Life tool. What we're going to do is rate our lives in all of these departments. Okay, because a lot of the issue tends to be when we're overwhelmed, is we can't even put our finger on the issue, the problem. We're not exactly sure what it is, or we think it's one thing, but it's something that's actually tied to another situation that's bringing us additional stress in our lives. And what I found with the Wheel of Life tool is that if we can just get super specific about the different aspects of our life and how it's going, we can start to use that clarity to free us up to focus on the challenges that we're facing in our lives. So we do a little bit of recognition of what's going well, and also, all right, I need to put some attention to these more vulnerable concerning areas of our lives. So go ahead and in your participant guide, I want you to go to the Wheel of Life tool and let's just rate your health, your living space, your family, your finances, your career, your spirituality, your recreation, and your romance. And I want you to give them each a rating and plot a point on there for where it is that you mark. So for example, in the health department, I'm gonna give myself a 7 in health right now. That's a very generous, I really more like a 6.5, but I would plot my point right about here, right over here, okay? So that would be 7. And in your participant guide, in the workbook for the workshop, you will see an example of how it is that you can do this. Now, what I find with this is it gives us a sort of like a statistical analysis of where we are and how we're doing. So after you're done with this rating, I want you to put a date on the sheet so that you can look back on where it is that your starting point was and where you are when you go to do this exercise in the future. Now, this is a gift for you, and you can definitely use it and work through the areas that need the most attention from you. And I also will be sharing with you a little bit more follow-up support that you can use for this exercise. But from this, I'm going to give you a moment to do this. Go ahead and do the rating system. And I want you to consider, okay, we're going to do an assessment real quick. Which are your lowest rated Wheel of Life categories? Which ones are the lowest? Go ahead. Just in your quick assessment, which ones are your lowest and why? And I would like for you to take those 3 lowest rated categories and write it out on your workbook under the areas of improvement that you're working on. Those 3 areas that we identified are now your areas of improvement, okay? And we're going to figure out what 2 to 3 things we can do to improve these areas. Oh yeah, we're getting busy today. Yes. Yes, you are going to work in this workshop, okay? And then we're going to pick one of your list of 2 to 3 things that you can do immediately, okay? And this is a little bit it's going to transition us into the goal digging part of our work today. So let's just jump right into this. Basically, with every area of improvement that you outline, you are going to come up with a what, how, and by when action plan for tackling and improving that area. So, for example, what? You're going to name the goal, okay? Say it plain. Goal, for example, improve my credit score. How? How will you achieve the goal? Maybe a tactic would be call to get my credit reports from, you don't even got to do that. You can go to freecreditreport.com. They're not paying me, so I am not officially endorsing, but you can get your credit report online. Don't put a barrier in front of yourself. If you are not a phone call person, go ahead and get it online. Do whatever you can, whatever is in that how, make it actionable that you can take action right now. All right. And then by when? Put the by when on there. When are you taking this action? And furthermore, I'm going to give you an extra bonus tip. Call a friend to hold you accountable to this thing that you're doing. Make sure. All right. So I am looking forward to seeing all of these worksheets get populated, because essentially this will take you right through to the intention setting. And I just want to share with you, I don't have a lot of time, and I know that Miss Casey keeps a close check on the time. So let's just get right in. This is a bonus exercise that I want us all to pay attention to. This is an intention cards practice, and this helps us be intentional around our goals and what it is that we are trying to achieve. So you're going to take that same thing that you're working on from your areas of improvement, right? And I want you to imagine what your life is like at a 10 in that department. How does it feel to have reached your goal. But just envision for a moment. Let's say that the goal is to improve your credit score. And let's say you went from a 5 something to a 780. How does that feel? Oh, yes, honey. How does that feel to achieve that goal? How does it feel if your goal is to leverage business credit and then you get $100,000 line of credit? How does that feel? And you have a plan to get some profit off of it. Amen. How does that feel? And I want you to put the feeling and get in touch with how it feels to achieve your goal. And the first part of that is going to be, fill in that feeling. I feel blank that I am now, and then say the goal. The last, that sentence right there is for the goal. So let me give you some examples real quick. I feel freaking awesome now that I am making an extra $1,000 a month in my business. Do y'all see how this practice is to connect your emotions of how you're going to feel when you accomplish your goal to the goal, so that you can powerfully align both your subconscious, your conscious, your heart, mind, and your thinking brain. Okay. All of it starts to align when we are bringing those emotions and the real world action together. So the next one is, I feel confident now that I am a paid public speaker. Oh, amen. That was one of mine. Oh, yes. And I do feel confident now that I'm a paid public speaker, but this was my intention card from 6 years ago. Y'all see what I'm saying? So I am hoping that this was as good for you as I intended for it to be. My hope is that each of you will meet your future self. I have a recording that is for you. Please take a moment to dive deeper into building your capacity through visualization. And the best way to do this is just by closing your eyes and following a guided meditation. This one that I've included for you is extra special. I'm going to go ahead and make sure that you get this in the chat. Thank you so much for sharing time and making space. And I really want to implore all of you, at the sound of my voice, know your worth. You are so worthy. You are so valued. You are so loved. And you are made to do incredible, impactful, amazing things. I would hope to empower you. If there's anything I can do in support, but in honor of you, I am going to include a free gift, which is my Thought Maps and Distortion Traps workbook. So on top of your participant guide that will walk you through all of this, you will also get the Thought Maps and Distortion Traps workbook that will help you walk through any cognitive distortions that could be stopping you or blocking you or getting in your way. I've also included this meditation for you. Please have a wonderful experience. And I thank you so much for this stage and this space, and I appreciate you. So I'm looking forward to us connecting. And again, you are so worthy. Thank you so much. Talk to you soon.
Yeah, y'all. Clap it up, clap it up, clap it up, clap it up, clap it up. Crystal, you are absolutely incredible. The chat was on fire. Some of our friends were in the wrong chat. They were in the feed. Just scroll up. Y'all will see the workbook. But we thank you for pouring into us so brilliantly, sis. You helped us to bifurcate the need.
Yes, bifurcate.
Girl.
Casey, can I tell you, I just have to intercept you for a moment and just give you honor and respect for what you've done here. This is such an incredible platform, so well orchestrated. I mean, and then the speakers are bringing fire, and then it's all recorded and we can get it for free. I mean, somebody give Casey a hand clap. Like, this is incredible what you put together, you and your team. Thank you so much for allowing me the opportunity. Excuse me, my webcam is acting donkey right now. Excuse me. I'm trying to get it working. I'm trying to get it working, but I appreciate you. And I hope that it was just beneficial, and to spell out essentially, like, our minds are so incredible. And when we are intentional about what we do with our minds, and crafting that story and beating back that self-doubt, and really just going forward with our trust in our abilities and, you know, our journey, we can be so powerful. We can be so powerful.
Ashe. Thank you so much, sis. I was trying to give you your flowers, but Ashe will accept it. I appreciate you so much. And I just want to underscore the power of what you have done alongside the other 29 businesses that have partnered with Blaze to come on the stage and do this. Like, this is a direct reflection of y'all's heart and your spirit and your willingness to show up and cape really, really hard for Black women. I have chills talking about this, and then another 30 businesses in the booths. Like, literally 60 businesses came together for this because we deserve all the things. So, Crystal, thank you so much. I'm going to make sure that folks get their questions out to you because you lit it up, sis. So, y'all, I know y'all were enamored and enthralled in that workbook, but please do type your questions in the question panel and raise your hand to come to the stage. So I see Sequoia up already. The way she cued herself was by hitting the hand under the stage. Sequoia, I'm bringing you up right now, Mamacita. Ooh. The floor is yours.
Okay. I'm going to turn this camera on. Hold on. Let me get Sequoia.
Am I on?
Hi.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much, Crystal and Casey. Yes, for the platform. I'm trying to get my words out. I'm so happy to see that you presented this, Crystal, because I have been I've been talking about mental health and creative healing for a long time. Mm-hmm. I went through entrepreneurship for a while in my first business and burnt myself out, like, to the max, mentally, physically, emotionally, all of that. And then in that process, I went back to my painting. I come from a family of creative people that never did entrepreneurship. Mm-hmm. And I've been healing this big, deep wound from my family for a very long time. And when 2020 hit, up until the beginning of this year, I realized, I was like, okay, I need the healing. Like, I was chasing for money, afraid of what would happen. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to stop what I'm doing because I need this healing. And when I finally stopped, more things came to me, and of course, more trust. I can go on, but I just want to say thank you for sharing the mental health aspect, because for me, because I didn't have a degree or degree in counseling or therapy, I felt like ashamed to talk about it. And my business is building the gap between the personal and the brand development, and showcasing and helping people heal their business. And when they heal their business, they're healing themselves. And I like to incorporate chakras in this. And I get a little woo-woo, and especially like in the areas that I have been in, it really wasn't accepting, or they just didn't understand. But I've been finding my footing and pushing back the negative things that we go through as entrepreneurs. And I just really want to say this was such a breathtaking, because like we went in today earlier with some other things, and Whew, that was a good. Like today is coming through with the punches, but in a way, it's enlightening, you know. So this softened it up a little bit, but I appreciate this, and I'm gonna get off. But thank you, Crystal, and thank you, Casey, for this, because I really needed this. Like this was one of the weeks where I was like, I don't know if I have time. And then I was like, something just kept saying to my spirit was like, sit down, sit down, sit down. And I sat down and I'm like, okay, I got some more things to do. So yeah. Thank you. Thank you,
I
ladies.
just say something real quick, Sequoia. One, thank
Okay.
you for your courage, for stepping up and like being courageous to share a little bit of yourself and be vulnerable. And I think it was Kayla who said it in the last session. You know, entrepreneurship is your healing. You know,
Yeah.
you're gonna have, it's gonna be your job. I love that. I love that quote
Yeah.
because it resonated with the work that we are all doing. Because essentially, you know, as far as I know that you said it might be a little woo woo, let me tell you something. We're going from a time, we are leaving, we have left the industrial age, okay?
Mhm.
We benefited as a society, as a world on the industrial age. We are leaving the information age. We have benefited from the information age, the technological advancement, and all of this data and information that we readily have access to. But
Yeah.
really and truly, do you know that we are stepping into the intuition age now?
Mm.
So
Thank
that
you for
woo-woo
saying that.
stuff, this is the truth, and I gotta speak truth so that if anything that I find to be true and that I've read in my research, and I want to loan it out to my sisters who are going through the same struggle, we all are more susceptible to
Hmm.
having these sorts of challenges in our mental health.
Hmm.
I don't know the correlation exactly, whether it's because we are born this way, we crazy enough to step out and do it on our own, or if it's because we have put ourselves in this situation where we're more vulnerable to the different circumstances that might make us, you know, a
Hmm.
little more depressed or a little more, you know, anxious or worried about all of it or completely overwhelmed. But honestly, we need you. We need your voice. As we go into the intuition age, creativity is going to be one of the number one resources that human beings will need.
Yes.
Number one. So, creativity, being able to harness that intuition and being able to build the gap for others who are going from that black and white data world into that what's the vibration like?
Yes.
What's what how is this whatever external thing is happening to me? What lesson does that teach me? What thing am I going to release in my chakras because of this experience? These experiences that we have are here to agitate us. And that thing in the washing machine is called an agitator for a reason. It gets us clean.
Yeah.
So don't let it overcome you, sis. These are just agitations. That's just making you clean so that you can go and do the work that you've got
Yes.
to do on this earth.
Thank you. Thank you. I accept and receive all of that. Thank you so much. Because I've seen so many people just not even understand how to process their ideas. And I know what that is like when you are going through the rejection alone as an entrepreneur, you know? So, and so much more. So thank you so much. Thank you, ladies. I
You're so
appreciate everything.
welcome. You're
Thank
so
Thank
you.
you
welcome.
for you. And keep taking up spaces. Don't apologize. Don't try to move out of the way.
Okay.
I love that. I love that. And thank you so much again, Casey, for, I mean, just the opportunity
You're
and to build.
welcome. Nah, thank you
Yeah.
for your brilliance, Mama Sita. You are light, and I'm happy to stay connected. I mean that. You let me know.
For
Whatever
sure.
you do, I got you. I
For
got you.
sure. For sure. Thank you so much, Casey. And it's mutual. So
Ashe. Ashe.
talk to you soon. Do we have
The
another
next
speaker?
up is Monique Roundtree. Monique, you are on the stage. The mic is yours, Mama.
Oh, hi, Monique.
Hey, hi. I just wanted to say thank you, Casey, for having this event. I was at the last one in the summer, and it was just so inspiring. And it got me back to my poetry. I used to do poetry, and we did a little ode to a black woman, and I loved that and enjoyed that. And I'm just trying to kind of like push past my anxiety when it comes to starting business and being an entrepreneur. But like Crystal said, like being an entrepreneur is healing is a part of the healing. And so I definitely need to keep pushing through and keep doing it. So thank y'all.
Of course. You're welcome. You're welcome.
Thank
Thank
you,
you for
Mama.
being here.
Yeah.
And Monique, you a vet. Because you were here last time, that means you're a vet. So I'm happy you came back. You still in the game. Give yourself credit for that. That was 6 months ago. Do y'all know how much life was life in the last 6 months for all of us? And you still here, sis.
That's
You
it.
still holding on. Like, don't play that down as something small, sis. I would tell you, keep leaning in. 1 + 1 is 11. It's not 2. It never was. It's always 11. And so just imagine how much power you have around you just in this community alone. Keep leaning into communities, not just Blaze. It's a gang of them out there. You deserve to live in the land of plenty. Okay, we got you, sis.
And then also, Monique, do you have a mentor? Because that's one of the resources that, you know, a lot of Black women entrepreneurs, the reason why our counterparts from every other walk of life are able to succeed is just having somebody to talk to that can breathe that life into you and keep you going, that has done some things themselves, that can really keep that flame and keep you accountable. Do not, whatever you do, you're gonna end up circling back to this anyway. Because I had a whole folder on my computer called "So What You Gonna Do Now? Quit," where I had everything in there about me quitting this journey. But ultimately, look, we all face those difficult struggles, and lean into, like Casey said, the community that you're a part of, because ultimately we hold each other up. And make sure you have that one person, that one friend, that one mentor, that one person that speaks life to you and over you, so that you can keep going when the going gets tough.
Yes, I don't have a mentor right now. I have business coaches, but I need like that accountability though. Yeah, so I definitely want to find that.
Beautiful.
Yeah, you're gonna find it today. I'll go ahead, Krista. Real quick, y'all DM her. Click Monique Roundtree's name. Click her photo. Send a DM. I promise you, you got something today. Love and light. Go ahead, Krista.
No, I was going to offer that, Monique, I'm starting a community where we can mentor each other, where we can coach each other. So I would love to get your contact information so that you can be a part of this community, because ultimately we all coaching ourselves. So we just want to gather around that idea and lift each other up. We all we got.
Yeah, join Krista's community. Like, if this was a glimpse and it's just a glimpse of what she offers, y'all be connected. Hold on. Hold her up too. Ashe. Thank you so much, Monique. All right. And I don't see anyone in the chat. Not in the chat, in the Q&A. I don't see any hands raised. So I'm going to assume that you all have given your flowers and asked the things that you wanted to ask. Crystal, is there anything you want to say as we close out this session called When Blessings Become Burdens?
I just want to just take a moment and give space to every single woman who is here right now, every single person who is here right now, because ultimately there's a reason why we are in any moment that we're in, especially this one. There's a reason why you're at the Blaze Virtual Summit. There's a reason why you heard that nugget, that quote, that gem, that fire that you just can't get it out your ear. It's on your heart now. There's a reason why you came up on this information at the time that you did, so that you can be sharpened, so that you can add a little fuel to your cup, so that you can pour into somebody else and pour into your work. You are so, so purposeful. And now it's just time for us to walk into our purpose and our intention. And we all are doing that. We're doing it together. So I just want to thank each and every one of you that are here right now. Thank you. I am because you are. So thank you. And thank you, Casey.
Thank you, Crystal. I appreciate you for pouring the way that you did and giving resources, love and light to you, sis. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Casey.
All right, y'all. Bye, mama. All right, y'all. It is going to be the last session right before the journal wind down. Today we were on a roller coaster by design. Yesterday was healthcare and all the things that are tied to transgenerational trauma, literally the trauma that runs through our veins. Let's talk about it. And we did. Today got closer to home, right? We had to own some things, right? All day long. We had to own some things, and this particular session was no exception. We ain't done with it, okay? The next session is a Blaze Talk from Nicole Player, and it is called Breaking the Bias, okay? That is the last session before we do the journal wind down, which is about attachment. Neff is going to come back up and carry us home, okay? But yeah, Ashley said we got snatched. Oh, I mean snatched, okay? I'll see y'all in the other session. Again, this one is called Breaking the Bias, and then we are going to allow Neff to close us out with a 30-minute journal wind down session. I'll see y'all on the other side.
It was hard for me the first time I experienced bias in the workplace from my own boss, who was also a Black woman. Not that I hadn't experienced it before, but this time just really hit different. It was even harder for me when I had to have a conversation with my 4-year-old daughter and share with her that this world does not love her. But how these experiences would shape me into the woman that I am today, I am even more proud of. So how do you break the bias that you experience being a Black woman? Initially in my career, I had trouble speaking up and speaking out against the bias that I had experienced in the workplace. It was my second job out of college, and I was so excited. I had just landed what felt like a big girl job. I was even more excited when I found out that my boss, who experienced life just like I did, was a Black woman. I looked forward to the conversations we would have where she would be able to mentor me and help me to navigate my professional career. I knew a lot of people, and out of all the people that she would get me. But instead, it was total opposite. She had placed unfair assumptions on me. She bullied me. She even told me that I didn't have the right look to work in corporate America and that people would not take me seriously. This experience with her really damaged my self-confidence in my profession and ultimately caused me to put in my resignation letter because my time was way too precious to spend it with someone that didn't make me feel my best. I also recall saying those dreadful words, I don't ever want to work for another Black woman. Now, when I think back on that experience, it really crushed my heart because I'm a Black woman. And while I was working in corporate America at that time, I aspired to be in leadership. I one day wanted to own my own company. So how would I feel if another Black woman shared those same sentiments that she didn't want to work for me because I'm a Black woman? I had always hoped that I would, if I had to do life again, I would handle that situation differently. I was a person that I wanted to shy away from conflict, and conflict is not a bad thing, and I just really had to get comfortable talking about the uncomfortable. And how do you do that? You find yourself in more uncomfortable situations. And if I just could have spoken up and stood up for myself, maybe I could have avoided the next Black woman working for her and the trouble that they may have, with unfair assumptions placed on them. One thing I told myself, from here on out, I'm going to use my voice and I'm going to speak up and speak out against things that I know are wrong. Now, it didn't always happen, or it didn't happen exactly that way. I had to have some real life experiences in order to, feel comfortable and where that actually felt natural for me to speak up and speak out. And when I say I can still say that it still doesn't feel natural. It still is uncomfortable at times. But there is something about motherhood that really just puts that oomph in your step, right? Like you just feel like the things I couldn't do for myself, I will make sure I can do it for my children. I've been blessed to be the mother of 4 beautiful Black little girls, ages 11, 8, and 4-year-old twins. So as you can imagine, my home is super dramatic. There's a lot of emotions flying around. And as you can see, I've locked up my hair because I could not fathom doing 5 heads in the morning. And I had to reclaim my time somewhere. And by the way, this was the best decision I could have ever made. I'm really hoping and waiting for one of my daughters to tell me that they are ready to start their lock journey so that we can make life a lot easier. But nonetheless, I am learning so much about myself through the eyes of my daughters. And this has just been a really amazing experience thus far. So I'm getting a lot of practice in this discussion around breaking the bias because it is my civic duty as their mother to make sure that my daughters know how to stand up for themselves, but also that conversation doesn't stop until every Black woman in this world is treated equally. And we've got a lot of work to do. When my oldest daughter was just 4 years old, my husband and I were looking at private school institutions because we wanted to afford her the best education. We live in St. Louis, Missouri, in the metropolitan area, and our private schools are really good in the area. So while searching, we found the perfect match. It was a school where we felt like our baby girl could thrive, where she could, and she could at times be very timid and soft-spoken. And this school was going to really challenge her to use her voice and really focus on building our future leaders. The only thing I questioned about the school was the diversity, because when I toured the school and the classroom that she would be joining, I saw no one in that classroom that looked like her. But I figured, we could offset it because we lived in the city and we lived in a pretty diverse area. I will never forget her first day of school. And, me being the mom that I am, I was super excited. I could not wait to pick her up and just ask her, how was her first day? I was really hoping that she had met some friends and that this transition was going to be easy for her. And to my surprise, when I picked her up and asked her, how was your first day of school? She remembered a little girl in my class came up to me and asked me why my skin was brown. And then she told me she couldn't play with me because my skin was brown. When I tell you my heart sank, it sank. I was absolutely furious. I had a mix of emotions going through me. Part of me wanted to cry because how am I supposed to have this conversation with my 4-year-old? Would she even be able to comprehend racism? And this other kid, I'm wondering, who are her parents? Because this is a learned behavior. And I might just have to purposely run into them in the parking lot. The other part of me, I was ready to pull her out of school. But I knew that this was something that we would have to address either way. So regardless if I took her out of school or she stayed, I still had to have this conversation with my daughter. I still had to talk to her about, her skin and how beautiful she is. And no matter what anybody has to say about you, you are worthy. You deserve to be here. And that she's a beautiful person and anybody in her friend circle will be blessed to have her as a friend. But then also that if they don't want to be your friend, they're lost, right? And as uncomfortable as it would be, it really needed to happen. I just didn't think it would happen that soon in her life. So of course, I did what any other mother would do. I contacted the school. I told them about the situation and I told them about the seriousness of it too. And that, we need to have more difficult conversations like this with other kids and the importance of letting these children know that, hey, we are all different and we come from all different backgrounds and walks of life, but it's important that you be kind to one another. And I also expressed my concern about the diversity in the school, right? My daughter needs to see other people that look like her. She felt so alone in that moment, and she had no one to turn to or talk to, and nobody else that knew what it was that she was experiencing. I will say I was more than impressed with how the school handled the situation, and then their focus on diversity being a priority for years to come. It gave me a little comfort. But I did notice a sadness in my daughter. I noticed something happening in her internally where she wanted to feel included, wanted to belong, wanted to feel wanted. But isn't that so many of us Black women that experience this throughout our careers, where you're working as an entrepreneur or working in corporate America, and you've been in rooms where you did not feel wanted, or where you had to prove that you were worthy to have a seat at the table, even though you are worthy? And in the words of our great sister Rihanna, a lot of these companies were built on the backs of Black women anyway. So I knew that this would be an opportunity for me. I needed to take a stand and commit to breaking the bias for myself, my daughters, and generations to come. And this is how Black Girl Motivation was birthed. Black Girl Motivation was created because I wanted all Black girls and women to be inspired, empowered, uplifted, and motivated daily, because we experience so many hardships throughout our lives. And if I could just use my voice and other Black girls and women's voices, we could begin to change the trajectory of Black women being silenced and instill life, power, value, and worth in one another. So how am I using Black Girl Motivation to continue this charge and breaking the bias against Black girls and women? While Black Girl Motivation is a technology company, it's been my focus to make sure my business is getting the exposure it needs to position itself to reach Black girls and women from all over, not just through technology. My background is in technology. I built a technology company. However, I know that there are areas that I lack experience and knowledge in. And I position myself to be in rooms where, because I might lack that experience and knowledge, I want to get some additional exposure. I want to make sure to find organizations where I can join their board. And most times this is minimal commitment to you. However, this could be a major breakthrough in your business. For me, I joined a board at a local school where we serve underrepresented communities. So now I have exposure to more Black girls that need daily positivity. I want to encourage you to break the bias by not limiting yourself and your business to just your area of expertise. If you own a beauty business, there is room for you in education too. For me, I am still working a 9-to-5. So while I'm also running my own business, over the course of these last couple of years, a lot of companies have really put a lot of focus on employee resource groups where they have a specific focus. So like Blacks in your companies, Asians in your companies, and so on and so forth. And I've been able to utilize these groups at my company as well as other companies because of my focus on empowering Black women. This is another way I'm breaking the bias to ensure we all have the tools to speak up for ourselves. I've learned that, to make my job work for me. And if you're in the same boat as I am, working a 9-to-5 while also leading your own business, I encourage you to do the same. Make your job work for you. Another way that I'm making my job work for me is continuing to break that bias is being very strategic about my career decisions. I position myself into roles that serve a dual purpose. And while they benefit my company, they also benefit my business too. I've been afforded the opportunity to attend different conferences specific to my area of expertise that has put me in rooms with people that I probably would have never been in rooms with. And to be able to open up the conversation about Black Girl Motivation and how we are empowering, uplifting, and motivating Black girls and women around the world. And I encourage you to do the same. I didn't recognize this at the time. And most times we don't recognize it, right? We don't recognize it until we go through what we have to go through. But that traumatic experience my daughter had at just 4 years old, mixed with my own unfortunate experiences, in my life and in my career, will be exactly what I needed to build my own brand, Black Girl Motivation. The great thing about it is I've been able to include my daughters in this movement. And my once timid, soft-spoken little girl, I've seen her confidence jump through the roof. And just being proud that she's a Black girl. And I've also seen it in my other daughters too. My youngest being 4 years old, because we empower them so much in our home and we talk about the uncomfortable conversations. My daughters are being equipped and, prepared to conquer this world. And if you have an opportunity to take a young Black girl under your wings, do it. We have to stop saying pass the torch to our young Black girls and light the torch for them. I'm going to leave with this because I'm doing my due diligence by making sure my daughters continue the conversation and empower and uplift one another. Our youngest Black girls are watching us, and I know this because my 4-year-olds are watching too. This is really a full circle moment for me because I share with you guys about the experience that my oldest daughter experienced when she was 4 and the racial bias that she went through. But now my 4-year-old is one of my 4-year-olds. I'm going to share a video clip with you guys, or audio clip. And so I want to share this with you guys because this was a full circle moment for me. And, I shed a tear afterwards because I thought about what my oldest went through and just thinking about my youngest now. And I am more than confident that I know that she would handle that situation differently if she was at school and someone told her they didn't want to play with her because of the color of her skin. So I will play this really quick.
Are you a Black girl, Riley?
Yeah.
Yeah. You like being a Black girl?
Yeah. Go back, go back, go back, go back, go back, go back, go back,
You better go, Black girl. You're a beautiful Black girl.
Yeah, and you too.
Thank you, baby. That's so sweet.
So that was a video or audio of me while I was doing my 4-year-old daughter's hair. And, she just started singing out of nowhere. And the message is so powerful. Go, Black girl. And we have so much work to do. And our young Black girls are watching us. And it's important that we pull them up with us. Before I leave, I do want to share a message with you guys from my mobile app, Black Girl Motivation. And I'll leave you guys with this. Hey, sis, the Black woman who does not require validation from anyone is the most feared individual on the planet. And I want you guys to remember this because you are worthy, you are valuable, and you deserve to be here. Thank you.
Oh,
You're crying, Nicole?
just a little tear, just a little bit.
Sis, that video just,
Man.
I don't have words. Anything you want to say right now?
Boy, wow. Okay, these last 2 days, I'll just start with this. This is my first Blaze Summit. I didn't know I needed this as much as I did. Like, it has just been so insightful and just an opportunity to just like, hey, like, these are some things, some patterns that you're seeing in your own life that you may need to change. And, I'm just so fortunate to be here. And I thank you. I love the chat because I'm seeing all of your comments and I see people who are experiencing the same things I talked about in my message. And I'm here for you, sis. Like, you are not alone. um, I'll just say this, because while we're talking about bringing community together, right? Like, and it's so important for us to have community. We also need to be mindful of those that don't want to see you succeed, that don't want to see you do well, right? And I'm a lot older now, so I can go back and see that that person was reflecting, projecting on me when they were saying those nasty things about me and that I would never be anything in life, right? But it's something, right? Like, you have to go through that journey and that experience till you get to that place and you learn what you need to learn. And even going through it with my daughter, which was so painful, and it took a long time to get her to a place where she didn't want to be validated by the white person, right? Or when she was in a classroom, even though they start bringing in more diverse students, but she would still gravitate towards the other students, right? And I'm like, well, why is she playing with the black kids? Like, so just those things. And it took us a while to get her to a place where she loved the skin that she was in. So just thank you for this platform. I appreciate you so, so, so much. I really do.
Likewise, sis, we must be looking at mirrors right now, because I appreciate you just as deeply. I'm going to ask every single person that is in this session to write out words of affirmation directly towards Nicole right now. It could be one word, it could be a full sentence, it could be a paragraph. Flood her right now with affirmations. And as they do this, sis, and as you read this, I want to tell them a story about you. I met Nicole Player through the Fearless Fun Summit some months ago on a spreadsheet, on a Google Doc. And introducing ourselves to each other, she invited me to go on her app and put in an affirmation that Black girls could read. Man. Oh, I mean, the concept alone, I'm like, oh, this cold right here. And I did it. In doing it, I was affirming myself. I was talking to the little Black girl inside of me. And sis, for me to hear your baby girl's voice affirming herself, I'm talking about you are experiencing things that we've never even dreamt of, because we've been saying, I want my children's children to be free. You went from your first baby to your little baby.
Right.
That is phenomenal. That is phenomenal. And now you are exponentially doing that for the world. Like, you cold, sis. You cold.
Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
I honor you. And I'm going to read these to you, Mama. Okay? The chat. Nicole, you are amazing. You are compassion, Nicole. You are beautiful. You are worthy of an equal exchange of positive energy. Nicole, thank you for everything you poured into your daughters and Black girls. Nicole, you are enough. Nicole, you are a powerhouse. Nicole, you are worthy, Black queen. Nicole, you are powerful. You are so powerful, queen. Continue to conquer this world. Nicole, you are the embodiment of what we as Black women are called to be. Nicole, you are light. Nicole, you are wondrously made, sis. You are an amazing mommy. Thank you for pouring into your little Black girl and teaching her that power is inside of her, not inside of how others see her. Nicole, you are needed. Nicole, you are powerful. You are a great mother. You deserve the flowers, sis. You deserve the flowers, sis.
Thank you so much.
Okay. So now I'm going to bring someone on stage to ask what they want to ask of you, or to speak whatever they want to speak into you. First, I'm going to bring up Chandrell, and then right after that, Alexis Miller. You are next.
How you doing, Queen? How are you? I love what you've done. Just to see how you've taken your situation and you turn that into your superpower. And I notice as Black women, that's what we have a tendency to do. We take what seems to be bad and we make it for good. We turn it into good. And, I have a Black young queen myself who is 9 years old. And I feel that you know, with the Barbie dolls that they create, and not really seeing themselves in the things that they're seeing on TV and things like that, and basically them just kind of conforming to these ways of people who are not like them. And I also have struggles as far as just trying to teach my daughter, love yourself. You don't need makeup. You don't need those things. And I think she had seen me kind of go through that phase of trying to find myself as well, until I actually locked my own hair. She hasn't quite gotten there yet, but she's like, she sees her mom embracing her naturalness, and I want her to also embrace that. But um another thing, our thing, it's not, we don't have the exact situation, but kind of similar. I feel like it's still relatable. My son, he's delayed in his learning and everything, and it was a situation where he's playing outside, and somebody called him retarded, and it broke my heart. you know it really broke me down, because as a mom, you want to defend your baby.
Yeah.
And that broke me down. That crushed my spirit. And I know, as a mom, it is my fault that I didn't teach him the way I did, because I spoiled him so much. And now I'm kind of going through this process of getting him the help. And I know that they have a tendency to want to put labels on our children when they become young. Oh, they're autistic, or these different things. And it's like, man, I watch my child every day. I watch my baby every day, and you can't sit here and tell me that my child has problems learning, because I watch him every day. And I just hate that they try to put these labels. But I've been kind of observing the school system, and just like you done become a part of the school board, that's something that I kind of thought about doing as well, because I'm like, there's no way y'all could just take these kids and put labels on them. You can't do that. You cannot do that, especially our Black children, because I understand a lot of Black parents are not as active, but me, I'm very active. I changed my entire life. I've stopped the 9 to 5 thing just because of my kids, because I didn't have consistent babysitters and things like that. So your story is empowering, because like I said, that just people judging my son, because he is a little delayed in learning, but he's getting there. And I said, with the right coaching, with the right people around, he'll get there. But I'm not going to put a label on my son. And I love that, the affirming, making sure your children are affirming themselves as well, and teaching them that affirmation, because just because somebody put a label on you don't mean you have to accept that. So I really love that. I thank y'all so much. I really appreciate that.
Thank you so much for sharing your story. As you were talking, and I know you mentioned, like, you spoiled your kid, and there's some things that you wish you could have done differently. But I just want to say, like, we're not perfect parents, right? I'm not a perfect mom. I make a lot of mistakes, and I apologize all the time. Okay.
Yeah.
But we're progressing, right? Like, there's things that we got to unlearn, because we learned these things from our parents or whatever the case may be. And I'm doing this thing, differently from my mom. And, so I just want to say you are doing the best you can. And I think if you can join a school board, that would be great, because even the board that I'm on, I'm the only Black female on that board. And this school is majority Black kids, right? So they need someone there to speak for them.
Absolutely.
And so I definitely just want to encourage you and just say you are doing the best you can. And I know your son sees that, but keep fighting for him. And we have to use our voices for our kids, right?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. I appreciate you so much.
Appreciate you
Thank you,
too.
Sonia. And then I'm going to honor what I said. So last person to come on the stage is Alexis. After Alexis, we're going to have to move on to the journaling session, but there'll definitely be opportunity to share your reflections. Neff is going to lead that. Alexis, the mic is yours, Mama.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll keep it quick. I resonated so much with your story, Nicole, because we actually moved from Phoenix to Houston. And I literally just got off of a call from my daughter's school in Houston from an amazing counselor, school counselor who is Black. And my child is coming from a situation where she was the only child of color in her classroom, and I often felt guilt because I always wanted to keep my kids in the most affluent schools and the most affluent areas because I felt like they were going to get the best education there. And I'm having to learn to give myself grace because I've kicked myself now, because now she's made this huge transition, as a result of stuff that happened personally with me and her father, and she's struggling hard. um, and so thank you for telling your story, and thank you for some of the gems that you dropped. I know that I will continue to try to do better at affirming her. And, I try my hardest not to invalidate her feelings whatsoever. And it's draining on me because she's very, very, very emotional. But I definitely want to thank you so much. And this day has been so emotional in general. so, so thank you so much for
Thank
that.
you. Thank you, Casey.
I say, and Nicole, if you want to say anything back to Alexis, take up space. I promise. No
Oh, I'm
press.
sorry. Okay. No, I appreciate you, Alexis, and just sharing your story too. I can relate, right? And I've been there with my oldest daughter, and just I think it takes time, right? And just continue to speak life into her. Also, just be an example too, right? I've had to learn, like, and with my oldest, she's 11, and she's a lot mature for her age, but sometimes I feel like I expect certain things of her, and it's like she's still a kid, allow her to be a kid, Nicole. So I have to tell myself that all the time. Like I said, y'all, I'm always apologizing to my kids because I'm not perfect. So, but just showing her love too, giving her hugs and kisses and all that stuff I didn't get as a kid, right? I think that's also important. And just speaking life into them. Like, it's so important that we just continue to speak life into them. And if they know that they are worthy, they are valuable, they don't need validation from anybody else. So thank you so much for sharing that.
Thank you, Alexis. Thank you so much, Nicole. Nicole, you are beyond amazing. Again, I don't even have the words, but I'm okay with that. I'm learning to be okay with that because the body knows. I'm sure you can feel me even continents away. Thank you so much for pouring into us and saying the things that we didn't even know we needed today. Sis, I honor you. I honor you.
Thank you.
You are welcome.
I'm looking forward to this wind down, though.
Yeah. We're about to get into it. All right, y'all. So right now, we are about to go into the final segment of the day, which will be led by none other than Neff McGriff, Nefertiri McGriff, but I call her Neff. And the topic for today is attachment. Okay. And the whole purpose of this, just to get us prepped for this, because you need to grab your pens and your paper, okay? The whole purpose of this is to help you process what you just experienced, right? It's not enough to experience this stuff and it's all jumbled, and then you go back into stepping on top of it and moving over it and not going through it. The only way through it is through it. That's healing, bruh. The only way through it is through it, because when you climb on top of it and you run around it and you crawl under it, it's still there. And wherever you are, there you will be. I've gotten on planes and went very, very, very far away. And everywhere I went, there I was when I got there. Every time. Right? And so the last few years have been heavy healing. And healing is a slow and soft process. It is so slow and it is so soft. Right? And I'm still in the thick of it. So Neff is here to help us expertly unpack these feelings, put vocabulary to them, allow us to, move it through our bodies. Okay. So definitely join us there. It'll be 30 minutes today. So about half the time it was yesterday. So literally bring your pens and your pencils. We're going to follow Neff's flow. But I'll see y'all on the other side. Love and light. Peace. All right, Neff.
Hey,
What's
what's going on?
everything?
All right, so I know we have a shorter time today, so we're going to get right into it. If you are in a place where you can participate in this very brief exercise, please do that because we have listened to a lot and tension does build up in our bodies. So very quickly, not an expansive range of motion, but just turn your head from side to side very slowly, like so. And when you do that, I want you to notice if either part of your neck has less range than the other. So 1 or 2 times, turn from side to side, and then something is going, so I'm going to ask you to keep your face forward, but turn your eyes, curve your eyes as far to the left as you can. And we're going to hold this. I know it's uncomfortable. And now we're going to release it. And so look back to the center, blink 2 or 3 times. Now, keeping your head straight again, look as far to the right as you can. And we're going to hold that for a few seconds. I know it's uncomfortable. Okay, now we're going to release it. Blink a couple times. Now, turn your neck again and see if the range is a little bit better. See if your range, see if some of that tension has left your neck. See if, yeah. You like that, don't you, girl? So
You're a magician.
So if you ever feel like there's a lot of tension, because a lot of times we carry tension in our neck, especially being in front of computers and sitting down most of the day. Whenever you feel like there is something that is kind of caught up in your neck, go ahead and do that. And so I wanted you all to just kind of enjoy that a little bit, to kind of get you ready ready to release whatever it is that you need to release and be able to focus on the task at hand, so you're not too much worried about the range of motion in your neck. So usually when we talk about, or when we hear attachment, especially for my clinical folk, we usually think about the attachment styles, like the anxious attachment style, avoidant, secure. We're not going to do that today. This is totally different route. So in your journals, and this is all about us. This is all about us, because we talked about being comfort able. We talked about pain of purpose. We talked about blessings becoming burdens. We talked about weak ass advice. Okay. So this is about us. It's not about parents. It's not about jobs. It's about us. This is inner reflection. So on your paper, write down I am, and then insert your name after that. So for example, I would write down I am Nefertiri. Once you've done that, list at least 5 traits of who you are, but really dig deep with this one. At least 5. You can come up with more than that, but really dig deep. Now, as you wrap up your list, just kind of glance over them, because I want you to realize that these are the attachments that you have created for your life. These are the attachments that you have created for your life. So do not go back and change anything. You were led to write them for a reason, so let it stay. So usually what gives attachment strength is conditional love. I'm sorry, but that's what it is. Attachments get their strength from conditional love, and that isn't always a bad thing, but it becomes a bad thing when we lose awareness of our authentic selves. So think about it. Your attachment, you wrote down the list because there's some kind of condition that you know you've met, or some kind of condition, there's some kind of conditional love that you have for yourself that made you choose those traits. And that's fine, again, but it becomes a bad thing when we lose awareness of our authentic selves. And so that leaves room for infiltration by other people's belief systems that we have subscribed to, and it becomes our voice. So when you look in the mirror each day, do you see those traits that you just described? If not, write down, what do you see? When you look in the mirror each day, do you see the traits that you described? If not, please be transparent with yourself and write down what you actually see. And this isn't just about physical appearance either. If you actually see what you have described, perfect. That's great. Don't give me that look, Casey. Okay. Next, I need you to write down, what voice have you given your thoughts that describe what you see? What voice have you given your thoughts that describe what you see? Is it a soft voice? Is it demeaning? Is it critical? Is it forgiving? Is it coming from a place of tough love? Is it rough? Describe that voice. Because the voice is like the narration of your thoughts. Next, I want you to think about, have you ever felt the need to meet an expectation to be worthy of your own love? Have you ever felt the need to meet any kind of expectation to be worthy of your own love? Have you ever felt the need to meet an expectation to be worthy of your own love? So our attachments to the beliefs about self-acceptance, or even who we have defined ourselves to be, will become the norm, and we accept them as a part of who we are. And again, just know this isn't about physical appearance. So with that being said, what beliefs are you attached to that drive the way you see things in your life? Not anybody else's life, but your life. What beliefs are you attached to that drive the way you see things in your life? What beliefs are you attached to that drive the way you see things in your personal life? Next, think about if the beliefs that you have just identified, are they your beliefs, or have you adapted those beliefs from someone else? Are they your beliefs, or did you get them from someone else? Yes, they can be both yours and theirs. It can. Yep. However it fits your life. Now, out of those beliefs, whether it's yours, whether it's theirs, identify one of those that you promise to yourself that you will detach from in the next 6 months. That you will adamantly work on to detach from in the next 6 months. Nicole, we can like our beliefs, but are our beliefs healthy? Is it an attachment that makes us feel like we're not worthy of self-acceptance? But if your beliefs don't hit on that, then you're fine. But if they are an unhealthy attachment that you have, then, because beliefs can make us feel safe, but when we really look at the volume of safety, is it practical for us? Is it appropriate? Lastly, so the question for the journal prompt, Cheryl, it was one attachment that you described, whether it's your belief or someone else's belief, one attachment or one belief that you will detach from within the next 6 months, one that you pledge to intentionally work on to detach from. So lastly, I am confident that releasing this attachment will improve my quality of life by I am confident that releasing this attachment will improve my quality of life by, and you fill in the blank. This is your way. This is your why. This is hopefully the purpose of you saying, okay, I have recognized that this is a belief that I want to detach from. And so I need to release this because my life will be so much better in this way. And naturally, everything on that list, those beliefs that you feel like you are attached to, one by one, go down that list. Because again, our attachment to beliefs about self-acceptance, if it's negative, even though we feel like it motivates us, but if it's negative, it becomes our norm. So we can blame social media, we can blame, whatever, but realistically, nothing has power over us unless we agree with the message. So anything that you find yourself attached to that is not serving you, even if it's a great relationship and you're still holding on to memories, but you have no space, no capacity, that's an attachment. But I wanted to make sure we kept it inner. This is about us. This is about what we see in ourselves. This is about being able to make space to be better. We're not holding on to things that don't belong to us, even if we gave it to ourselves. So remember, nothing has power over you unless you agree with its message. So I'm going to give the floor to you, Casey, if you have any feedback or if anybody wants to.
Girl, you messed me up. Okay, you messed me up. What? You good. Okay, you got to take this on the road now. You good. You good, girl. Woo! Okay, so I just want to share my reactions, and Aaliyah has her hand raised. I'm gonna let her come up and say whatever she wants to say. Because I'm actually enjoying this. I feel like I'm vulnerable, but clearly, I mean, my therapist wouldn't say I'm vulnerable. My therapist, she done worked hard, y'all, over the last 6 years, child. Okay, so, okay, when you said to write 5 things that describe me, I said, I am Casey, a protector, a teacher, a leader, deeply passionate. I am an artist / creative.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you said that these are attachments, can be attachments or these attachments can get their strength from conditional love, it messed me up immediately, because all of these things are born out of my need to feel safe and respected and viewed as something worthy. And these are the things that people have the good connotation. Somebody said connotations earlier, like it has everything to do with how other people see me, right? Because I was the A student, I was the valedictorian of all of my schools, elementary, middle, and I'm still trying to unlearn that mess. Mm-hmm. Then when you said, sis, come on now, you got to take this on the road, sis. Then when you said, when you look in the mirror, what do you see? How would you describe yourself? Immediately, without thinking, I said sensitive, fragile, seeking, learning, blooming. Completely different. But when I look in the mirror, that is what I see. I see how soft I am and how much protecting I need, and how fine of a line there is between me being broken, depressed, anxious, stressed, right, and me being whole. It's a very fine line. My baby knows that. Like, he works overtime to protect me, even from myself, But the world sees me as a warrior, right? And then I'm almost done, Aaliyah. I'm about to pass you the mic, sis. And then when you said, what voice do I speak to myself, or what the voice do I hear? I said soft and loving. 100%. It is so soft and loving. Which is deep, because the way I show up when I'm protecting people and caping hard for people and standing in the gap for people is very, very bold. It's very assertive. I do not flinch, you know? But the voice I hear in my head is way softer about myself, right? Just deep. Then when you said, have I ever felt the need to meet an expectation to be worthy of love? Absolutely. All caps, yes. Girl, yes. What beliefs am I attached to that drives the way I see things in my life?
Worthy of your own love, though.
Worthy of my own love. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I'm talking about, I mean, even when I left that dude, like, I knew I was doing the right thing, but I was mad at myself for years for choosing him. But it's like, now I'm at, like, girl, you were 16. Girl, what are you talking about? Right? Like, yes. Like, there was so much self-loathing. I wanted to die. I literally didn't even feel like, I was like, if I could be this stupid, why am I here? What is the purpose of living? So I can just keep making dumb decisions. I was so, girl, like, what is the point? I really felt like that, right? Don't feel like that today, but yes, definitely been there. What beliefs am I attached to that drives the way I see things in my life? Productivity, hierarchy, scarcity, dominance, evolution, connectedness. And the last two are who I am, right? Like evolving, right? And the first four, which is your next question, are these my beliefs or did they come from someone else? Yes, somebody else. It was productivity, hierarchy, scarcity, dominance, like 100%. And evolution and connectedness is mine. Like I realize I'm connected to the soil and the air and it's deep. It ain't no scarcity in it, right? Identify one that I'm determined to like detach from over the next 6 months, productivity. And then lastly, I am confident that I can't read my own handwriting, but I am confident that releasing this attachment will improve my quality of life by giving me rest, peace, a clear mind, mental health, a free and safe relationship, and the ability to be present. Thank you so much, sis. I feel so good. I'm so proud of myself. I appreciate you. I'm bringing the Leah up now. We can hear you, Aaliyah.
Okay. Hey, everybody.
Hey.
I said I am Aaliyah, and I thought of creative, soulful Sunday, intriguing, contagious, powerful. And then when you said the conditional love gives attachment strength, and what do I see when I look in the mirror, I thought of nakedness, fragility, and pain, sad, depth, power, resilience, and art. And it says, what voice have I given my thoughts that describe what I see? I said, I have given it a shaky voice, a childlike voice, sort of soft, not very assertive, but firm, sometimes timid even. And it says, have you ever felt the need to meet an expectation to be worthy of your own love? I said, yes, all the time. I'm still learning how to just love me as I am in every aspect of my life. And it says, what beliefs am I attached to that drives the way I see things in my life? I said that mistakes are who I am, not what I did. And then my second one was, I must die empty of all that God has placed inside of me. And my second belief is something that came from me, from knowing God for myself and figuring out my spiritual journey on my own. But I said the first belief of the mistakes are who I am, not what I did. It probably came from my childhood, from my past relationship, my past friendships, my family condemning me so much when I do things or when I have shortcomings. And then I said, I promise to detach myself from that belief. And I am confident that releasing this attachment will improve my quality of life by allowing more love, healing, rest, tears, and joy into my life. I am not stuck in cycles of punishment or condemnation. I deserve great things. I deserve light. And I am worthy of great things coming from me, and to stop being surprised when great things come from me. And then I also wrote down your point that nothing has power over me unless I agree with the message. So I said all of the message that I don't agree with, stop giving them power, because I feel like a lot of things that are in my head I don't necessarily agree with anymore, but I still give them power because you'd be like, oh, it's been that way for so long. So it's like to unlearn those things is like an active thing I'm learning. That's
Mm-hmm.
that's an everyday choice to remind myself like that's not true. You don't even believe that about yourself. Like I can write affirmations every day, and if my grandma or my mama or somebody say some one little thing to me, it'll stick on me all day, and it'll be like, now why you let them people bust your bubble and you just build it up, you know, to stop letting other people throw a rock and crumble it.
Mm-hmm.
Be more
Mm-hmm.
solid in what I'm learning about myself, what I believe and love about myself. So I definitely thank you for providing this space for me to release that. I'm really big on journaling, so I appreciate that. So I'm trying to make that no longer my burden.
There it is. There it is. Thank you so much, Aaliyah, for, sharing that, because I know there's quite a few of us that have family members that will say one thing, and we know in our heart of hearts it's not truth, but we still allow it to, and because we gave it that power, we believe some little tiny iota of it because we've been programmed to believe that. So the fact that voiced yourself, even though you say you have a very shy, timid, your voice that you hear is very shy and timid, but right now, speaking through your truth, it was very assertive and firm. So please congratulate yourself on that. Please do.
Thank you so much, Aaliyah. So good. We did it, sis. Girl, you bad. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you, girl, I didn't know how you was gonna do this in 30 minutes after what we did for an hour yesterday. You good. You
Well, I
good.
appreciate you. I appreciate you.
That girl bad, y'all. Woo woo. All right. Well, this was powerful. I want to make sure that we usher y'all into the Buy Black Market, usher y'all into the lounge where y'all can kick back and cool it with each other. You do not have to go home. This is not closed at all. It will stay open 24/7 until Friday. So really not 24/7, 24/5. Okay. But Neff, as we leave, I want to ask you one question which came from Alyssa. I'm going to ask the tail end of it.
Okay.
She essentially describes the fact that she assumes maybe that many of us might have written down traits that define ourselves in terms of what others, right, or in terms of what we do for others, right,
Mhm.
versus just how we see ourselves. And she wants to know what that means for those who've done that, right? So if we wrote down traits that are anchored in what we do for others,
Okay.
what does that
So
particularly mean?
usually, so now getting actually into attachment style, that is where you could find, okay, if you are anchored in such servitude all the time, then that means who you are outside of that really needs some nurturing, because if you automatically go to what you do for others or what you think others have described you as, then that's where majority of your energy is spent. That means that takes a little bit more of a priority in your life than it should, because I get it when people ask us to describe ourselves, especially if we've gone on job interviews and we feel like we have to sell ourselves, and it's hard to say great things about ourselves, but that I would suggest that being the norm of you thinking of you, because that is a part of self-care. That is a part of self-preservation and self-inclusion.
Yeah. Ashe. Thank you so much for that, Neff. You all make sure you go to the booths. I'm just gonna say the top three. It ain't over. 15 people will win, but the top three on the leaderboard right now. Don't be mad at me, but Tiffany holding it down. Okay, she has a 2,000 point lead, a little more than that. Tiffany Brown, Sharita has slid into number 2, and then Winnie Quick is number 3. Keep going, y'all. 5 days, 15 spots will win. Some folks have started broadcasting their booth. So Women Who Matter Too, y'all, we love us some Auntie June. Go over there and check her out. She is super, 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 super dope. That's the Women Who Matter Too booth. It looks like NPO Creations has started a live broadcast. She makes a lot of dope things. I'm talking about fedoras and bags and art and all kinds of super dope things. New Heritage has started a live broadcast. They have 90s gear. Super dope story with her. I also met her at the Fearless Fun Summit a couple of months ago. Her business was started by her family members in the NYC area, right, with 90s gear. And it was like booming. Literally did it for the culture in a very big way. And she picked it up. I think it was her uncle's business. She picked it up recently and she brought it back, still, giving homage to 90s gear. So love her story, love what she's doing. Check her out. But yeah, y'all enjoy. Y'all have a good time. Some people made a table for the VAs for 5:30. So, enjoy. I'll holler at y'all. Enough. You got anything else you want to say, Mama?
Hey, we always say Black girl magic, so let's be that. Let's be it.
Ashay.
Y'all have a good night.
Yeah, Yvonne said good night. Yeah, I'm going to bed. It's 1 a.m. for me, so I'm going to bed. But y'all have a good time. Love and light to y'all. See y'all tomorrow morning. Bye. Peace.